Hello, good evening. Tonight I've got a very special Be Live for you. But before we get into the person I want you to get to know during this interview, I'll take a brief moment to introduce myself. My name is Yvonne Dam of Amaze Yourself Coaching, and I help you to focus on what matters most in your life, in your career. Because I believe if you focus on what matters most, you get more time to really enjoy and embrace life. So I thought it would be a great idea to get some people to tell you how they can help you to focus on what matters most. And like I already said, tonight I've got a privilege because with me is Marije Wielenga. And Marije is an amazing person, and she is the Dutch champion in speeching. Well, I think that's amazing. She also has the online speech academy and a very great program in that academy that will help you to stay close to yourself, but provide some people with amazing speeches at the same time. Marije, you've got prepared for us, I think, 3 tips on how we can focus on what matters most.
Yes,
So,
you're right.
Tell me, what's the first tip you want to share?
Thank you for the great introduction, Yvonne. It's nice to be here with you with this Facebook Live. My first tip, when we may present, we often do that about something we feel passionate about. And with that comes a big risk. And that risk is that we tend to talk too much about the subject and that other people might lose interest on what we were talking. Well, that's such a pity. And of course, you want to avoid that. And my first tip is on how to do that. And you can avoid that by when you start preparing your presentation, you should make a brainstorm out of what you can present about the subject. So take a big paper. In the middle, write down the subject you want to talk about, and then all around it, write down everything you can talk about during your presentation. This will help you to clear up your mind and to write down everything you need. It gives you more focus, because now you can actually look at the things and skip the things which are not important, and select the things which are important to tell in your presentation.
Okay. So very clearly, don't talk too much, even though you're passionate. And by brainstorming, you should drill it down to the things that are crucial to inform people about. Yeah,
it helps you beforehand to make a good decision on what you will actually talk about.
Right. So you're also saying then preparation is key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you really want to make the best out of your message, you should definitely prepare for your presentation. Indeed.
Right. Okay. Sounds great. So that was the first tip.
Yes. Let's go on to the second one.
Please.
Because now you have this big brainstorm with so much things on the paper, what you can use to talk about, and how do you make a good fit? What is it that you have to pick out to actually tell the people you give a presentation to? Well, you do that by setting a goal, because with setting a goal for your presentation, for what you want to reach out, what you want to reach with your presentation, it helps you to pick out of the things you really want to tell. And this goal can be one of the 3 things I will mention now. You can either want your audience to do something, not to do something, or not to forget something. And my second tip is to choose one of these 3 things and then create your goal. So it makes it much easier for you to select the things you really want to tell, which are important, and to skip the rest, what does not support this goal.
So, by the way, before we go on, if you have if you're watching this and you have any queries, just please tell us what your queries are, because we like interaction. So my question is, for example, Marije, where are you at the moment?
I am in my living room.
Okay, but where's your living room based?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm living in Zwolle in the Netherlands.
Because I'm in London in the United Kingdom. So if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from, because that's, nice to know. But you were saying your second tip, you should actually, when you go through that brainstorm and you're picking out what topics you're going to discuss, you make sure to focus. And there are only 3 topics basically, or 3 approaches almost of messages you can bring through. So it's like, seeing whether I listened right, it's do something, stop doing or don't do something, and try to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If you don't set a goal, your presentation may not be bad, but then it's not more than just a nice story. And as a speaker, of course, you want to make something happen. You want to make your call to action, and that's by doing something, not to do something, or by don't let them forget something.
But so I was triggered by the fact that you said otherwise it's just a nice story. Isn't storytelling also crucial? Did you not send me an email lately why storytelling was so crucial?
Storytelling is crucial, not crucial, but it's a very nice tool to use in a presentation, but it should be used in order to reach your goal. And if you're just telling a story without having a goal, then it's just a nice story, which is also okay. But if you really want to make an impression on your audience, you should definitely think of a goal you want to reach. What?
Right. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. I don't think they're going to tell us where they are. That's a pity.
That's a pity.
Yeah. Anyway, it was snowing earlier here in London, so I am hoping on a white Christmas.
Cool.
But what's your third tip?
My third tip, also to make sure that your audience will stick to your story. And this tip is about how much content you should give in your presentation. And the third tip is you should know that we are not made to remember a lot of stuff. Actually, the scientific research learned us that we people can only remember a maximum of 7 things. So everything you tell more than the 7 points you want to make, it's too much. People won't remember it. So keep it short, keep it simple. The less points you mention in your presentation, the better people will remember your story. So that's my third tip for you. Okay.
And so you're saying 7 is the maximum, and is that then including introduction, or does that not count? So if I wanna provide tips or whatever, I'm assuming I can do 7 tips, but then I might have an introduction leading up to my story, and I might have a closing statement, or a call to action in my closing statement. Does that then count as 2 separate things, or is it?
Don't have to be. You should see it in this way. If you have a goal, for example, you want to convince people that they should eat bananas every day, then you can think of 3 arguments to do so. And these 3 arguments, of course, they count for the 3 arguments you should use to deliver your story. And because this goal is that you want to help to convince people to eat those bananas, it's not that important who you are. This story is important. But of course, if you really want people not to forget anymore what your name is, then the whole structure of your presentation is different. So it's always, what is your goal and what are the arguments that should stick into the heads of the people?
Right. But if they don't, if I don't want them to get my name, what difference does that make for my story?
If you don't tell your name during your presentation?
No, I want them not to forget my name.
Ah, I see. Okay, I have a tip for that. Because we tend to forget a lot, you should start with it, or at least you should tell it at the beginning of your presentation and end with it. And when you tell your name different times in your presentation, it's more likely for people to remember that.
So, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being very annoying here, but I'm just. But am I then supposed to talk in, like, how do you say that? You know, am I supposed to say, so me, Yvonne, thinks? How can I drop my name? Well, I tell me.
You did it well. You just introduced this Facebook Live by introducing yourself.
Yeah.
And at the end, if you want to do it well, you end with, okay, so thank you for watching. My name is Yvonne Dam. And then you end the presentation. So that's the way of doing it.
Okay, so I don't have to drop my name during the... Okay.
No, you don't have to. And there's another tip for that as well, because we say our own names a lot of times, almost each day, almost every day. And because we are used to saying it so much, we tend to say it very fast. My name is Yvonne Dam. Yeah. Well, if people don't know you and they hear your name for the first time, it's better to speak it out more slow. Like it feels unnatural, but it's good to remember that it's for the people you're talking to. It's not the first time that they will hear. It is the first time that they will hear your name. So say it out very clear and very slow, so they will remember it better.
Right. Now, it's actually funny because today I got a call from somebody, and his name was Seven. Seven something. No, and he said, so you're speaking with Seven. And I was like, is he now saying he's speaking with Yvonne? But it's a guy. How can he have the same name as me? So I made him spell his name. I tossed it away. But it was so similar to mine. And it's also very funny because in Dutch, I say my name different than in English. Because if I say it in the Dutch way, people don't get it. So I always make it a bit... anyway, it's funny, but you have to adjust you have to adjust it to understand it. Yeah, okay. Right, so no name dropping in between, but you should start and you should end with it. Yeah,
that's a good suggestion if you really want them to remember it or to have a better chance for them to remember it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And isn't it also true that if you say your last name, so it's not only your first name, but also your last name, because if you say them both, they at least will remember your first name?
I don't know that. That's a good question. I don't know that.
I've picked up in a networking event. You have to say both your names, so they at least remember your first name. I think it's, but yeah.
It kind of makes sense, but I'm not sure if it works that way, but I think it's a good tip to try out.
I kept our names on tonight. You see, we're totally in screen, so they can't forget it. I thought that was a good thing as well.
It's a good help yourself thing, yeah.
Okay, so we've got a reaction from Esther. Yay!
Hey, Esther.
Esther is in Amersfoort. And I just want to know if you're watching right now, do you have any questions for Marije? Because she's a star. She knows everything you want to know about presentations. I'm pretty sure she'll answer your questions as well. Oh, somebody's immediately dropping off. Like, no, I don't have a question.
Okay. Oh, that's fine as well. I think we're very clear in that way, in the case.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, I don't think there are questions. So I think you were very, very clear. If you've... Oh, hold on. Oh, no, Esther doesn't have a question. She's just laughing.
Just laughing.
If you haven't watched this interview live, but if you're watching it after we stop the recording and you have any questions, feel free to ask them because we love the interaction. And like I said, Marije is great with answering questions. So please just put your comments underneath and we'll make sure to come back to you. Any final statements before I drop my name and we close the interview?
Yes, I am really into being authentic in a presentation. If you ask me, that's the most important thing you should do if you give a presentation. And of course, as a presentation trainer, I always give tools on how to deliver your message. But for me, you can always forget all the tools I gave you as long as you remember that you should always be yourself in any kind of presentation you give.
And then, okay, I'm going to ask a funny one because I like the authentic part. But how do you stay authentic? Do you have any tips around that? Because it sounds very easy, but I know from a matter of fact, and after having had some tips from you myself, that it's not that easy at all.
No, it isn't. That's totally true. It's good of you to remind that as long as you're on stage, you may be yourself. You don't have to pretend that you're like a great author, a great entrepreneur, or whatever it is you want to show. Just be yourself. And that's pretty hard because you have all this adrenaline running through your veins and it makes you nervous. I have it all the time still, and I hope it will keep it being that way. But it's a trick to stick to yourself, to stay steady, and to feel the message you are presenting. And as long as you feel the message you're presenting and you're not afraid to show yourself on a vulnerable way with your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, then you're pretty good.
Okay. Feel my message.
Always think of why it is that you're telling this message. And as you, Yvonne, you are really helping people to keep their balance in life. And as long as you remember that while you're telling whatever story you have to tell at that moment, if you remember that that is the main reason that you're actually telling that story and you can feel it, then it's good. Then it's you being authentic on stage.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'll give it a go.
Great.
Lovely. Thanks so much for your time. Oh, sorry. Esther is saying I need to reveal that comment. Nice tips. I especially like the brainstorm tip to undo myself from too much. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Take it easy, Esther. Don't make it too hard for yourself.
You're an amazing person too, so I don't mind too much of Esther. Thanks so much, Marije, for giving your time and these great tips. And I'm Yvonne Dam of Amaze Yourself Coaching. I said that way too quick, but you've read my name. So I'll see you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night. Bye-bye.